What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Vincent Esposito, and today we are going to be talking about 3 ways to use canned tomatoes. So again, we're kind of sticking with our theme of pantry ingredients. So we are going to do 2 separate episodes on tomatoes, one on the canned variety and one on fresh tomatoes. But let's talk a little bit about the health benefits of tomatoes first. So tomatoes are great sources of fiber. They also contain high amounts of vitamin C. The vitamin C is actually mostly found in that jelly-like substance that coats the tomato seeds. Tomatoes are a great source of folate, as well as iron, copper, zinc, and potassium. Now, tomatoes are probably most known for the carotenoid known as lycopene. And lycopene actually tends to be in greater amounts once tomatoes are canned. Now, canning does have some drawbacks. You do lose some fiber and vitamin C in the canning process, but what tends to go up during the canning process is actually the amount of lycopene. And again, lycopene is a carotenoid known to have great antioxidant capabilities in the body, especially when found in foods. Interestingly, lycopene type supplements don't tend to have the same effects as lycopene from the actual food sources. Now, a couple things you might have to watch out for with cans is, first things, you want to really make sure you're not getting a BPA lined can. BPA has a number of negative drawbacks when it comes to our health. So if you are going to choose a canned product, make sure it is a BPA-free can. And this is especially important with tomatoes because tomatoes tend to contain the highest amounts of BPA due to their acidic nature. So it tends to leach from the can lining into the tomatoes themselves. Now, tomatoes fall under the family of fruits and vegetables known as nightshades. And if you have an autoimmune disease, chances are you probably have heard of nightshades because sometimes part of the protocol is a nightshade-free diet if some of those kind of cause issues. Now, again, this isn't meant to be forever. It's simply you eliminate them until you fix the problem, and then you slowly reintroduce those foods, similar to how you would do an elimination diet. Now, the reason why some of these are considered to be detrimental to some extent are because of the glycoalkaloids they consume. They tend to be neurotoxins or nerve poisons. But actually the ones in tomatoes tend to be mostly concentrated in the tomato leaves. So as long as they're not consuming the tomato leaves, we should be all right. Now, I mentioned before, lycopene has strong antioxidant effects in the body. It also helps protect us from certain forms of cancer. Because of the high potassium, tomatoes are actually shown to be helpful in reducing the risk of stroke as well. And they also help keep blood pressure levels regulated. So tomatoes are really awesome. And like I mentioned, we are going to be highlighting the canned variety today. So we are actually going to be making a homemade salsa using canned tomatoes. We are going to be making a 3-bean chili, and we are going to be making baked beans. So again, 3 completely separate utilizations of these canned tomatoes. So hopefully you get some ideas going forward. So let's hop right into the recipes and we will see you on the other side.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the salsa. We're actually gonna cook some of it down before. So a little bit of olive oil, some green pepper, some diced red onion, and some garlic. We're going to add our diced canned tomatoes, and we're just going to cook it down a little bit, and we're going to add a little bit of water to add some body to our salsa. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. If you want to add jalapenos, this would be great for you too if you want to add more spice. This variety did not contain any. And then we're simply taking all these ingredients, throwing them in a food processor, and blending it up. And it's going to be that simple, guys. That's going to be your homemade salsa. Now, you can serve this warm or cool. I tend to like a cooler salsa, so I pop that in the fridge for a few hours and it's good to go. All right, so let's get started on our baked beans. So again, we have a pan set to medium heat. Going to add a diced white onion and some garlic. Cook that down for 4 to 5 minutes. Add our navy beans. Those are what are traditionally used in baked beans. Salt, pepper, and we're going to cook that down, kind of allow everything to combine. Then we're going to add our tomatoes. Now, I used a tomato puree, I think, in this one. A little bit of water just to, again, kind of help cook everything down. Some salt, some pepper, some cumin, some garlic powder, some paprika. You can add onion powder. I did not have any, so I did not use it. Then we're gonna add our salt, so tamari, a little bit of apple cider vinegar for acid, and a little bit of coconut nectar for sweetness. And we are simply gonna toss this all to combine and have it cook down until your desired thickness is reached. I prefer it a little thicker, so it took me probably about 5 minutes. You're gonna wanna raise the heat and then bring it back down to a simmer once it's hot enough. And then that's it, you're gonna have your baked beans. So let's get started on our chili. So we have some red onion, some green bell pepper, some garlic, a little salt, little pepper. We're gonna saute that down in some olive oil for 4 to 5 minutes until those red onions are translucent. Then we're going in with our beans. So we have red kidney beans, pinto beans, black beans, again, a little salt, pepper, seasoning. We're gonna cook it down. We're gonna add our tomato sauce, and then we are also gonna add water or vegetable stock. So you use what you have. If you have vegetable stock, definitely preferred for more flavor, more depth of flavor, more nutrition as well. Then we're gonna go in with our spices. So we have some chili powder, we have some cumin, paprika, garlic powder, and then I put some ground chipotle pepper and a little bit of cinnamon. That's optional. You can kind of go with whatever you want. Again, if you want a spicier variety, feel free to put in some jalapenos. We're gonna bring it to a boil. We're gonna cover it, and then we're gonna reduce it to a simmer. I noticed I needed a little bit more salt, so you're gonna season here with salt and pepper. So I added some tamari, and then we're finishing it with some lime juice. And then I would suggest serving this with some lime and cilantro as well. And then guys, that's it. Minimum 20 minutes with the chili. You can have it go for hours if you really want. The longer you have it cook, the more the flavors will kind of come together. And guys, those are canned tomatoes 3 ways. So you see we have our baked beans, our homemade salsa, and our 3-bean chili. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully it was helpful. Just so you guys know, I am starting live online plant-based cooking classes. So if you're interested in that, see the link below. Hope to see you there. And until then, take care, and I will see you guys next week. Oh yeah, and make sure you like and subscribe if you like this. Okay, goodbye.